Hi, welcome back. We're going to kick into lesson 8 today and take a look at our guiding questions like we've been doing this week. We've been digging a little deeper into the parts of the brain, learning some of that vocabulary and what those pieces of the brain do with regard to function and structure. We're going to stay focused on our guiding questions today. How is the adolescent brain changing? And how can I make an informed decision about an issue like screen time and then effectively argue my position? So, as we've discussed in the past, when we talk about screen time, we're talking about your eyes on screen. That might be a television, could be a computer, a smartphone, a cell phone, video games. So how much screen time and what are those activities affect the development of the young brain? And so we're going to take a look at some of those readings. So what we've been looking at this week is an article that you'll need access to again today, and it's titled Explainer, This is Your Brain. You've been doing a lot of reading and writing, thinking and talking around this article during the week. And today you will also need lesson 8 from your distance learning packet, as well as your lesson 8 quiz and a writing utensil, like a pencil. So we're going to get started. Our learning target today is really just simple. I can use a text to answer questions. So we're going to take a look at this today, but first we're going to look at the article, and with a family member, maybe a caregiver, friend, you're going to read the article Explainer, This is Your Brain. This is the article that we read together. I did a read aloud on lesson 5. It is in your distance learning packet. And before you take the quiz on this article, go back and read it again. You can pause this recording and come back in a few minutes when you're done going through that reading and looking at maybe the annotations and the notes that you've taken, and then come on back. So pause the recording now. I'll see you in a minute. Fantastic. Welcome back. Before we take the quiz, let's think about a couple of things. What have you learned this week about the brain and how it works? They've used terminology like hemispheres and lobes and cortexes. So what have you learned? Think about that. And also, how can understanding how your brain develops support you when you're learning? When you think about speech and language and the things that they talked about in the article this week. So be thinking of that, and go ahead and reach out with someone in your area, maybe a family member, and talk about the following questions. And remember, you can refer back to the article to review concepts before taking today's quiz. And here are some questions to talk about with someone in the house around what are the hemispheres and lobes of the brain? What are those? Also, how does the function and structure of the brain work together like a network? And lastly, how do scientists today understand the idea of left brain and right brain? Go ahead and have that conversation, pause the video, and then come on back. That is fantastic. We're actually going to move very quickly today into the writing portion of our lesson. Every day our lesson has a reading component, thinking, talking, and writing component. And today the writing component is the quiz itself. That is in your distance learning printed packet. It is lesson 8, and the quiz has 4 questions. So I want you to pause the video, take a moment, take as much time as you need. You can refer back to the article and answer the 4 questions that our lesson 8. Welcome back. I hope you feel good about what you've learned this week and your ability to look at those questions, dive deep into your readings from this week, your writing from this week, the things you focused on. And as we close this lesson week today with lesson 8, I would like you to share your answers with someone and tell why you chose the answer that you did. And just take a moment and reflect on that, make sure it makes sense to you. And then after you complete that, you can go ahead and read for your own pleasure. Some other books that might be around, you could read online, and you could go back and read some of the articles that are in your packet. We certainly will be focused on those as we move forward. And don't forget that you can do your fluency practice with this week's article called Explainer, This is Your Brain. And you can set a timer for 60 seconds and see if you're getting a little further in the article and your fluency, your ability to pronounce the words, your knowledge of the article. Maybe it's on the rise. That's what we would be looking for. It's really great for you to join us today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.